The little girl leaked in the Donkey Kong Bananza art a few months ago was confirmed to be a young Pauline, and this rips the Mario timeline a new butt, but also might be a retcon that will no doubt be controversial, but also fix a lot of the Mario series' connection to the DK series. In this video, I will explain in a 58 chapter long film franchise about shit that doesn't matter. Okay, so first and foremost, how all this was established before. There was the original arcade Donkey Kong game where you play as Mario, defeat Donkey Kong, and save Pauline. The sequel had Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong's son, rescue DK from Mario. Mario goes off, does his own thing, and Donkey Kong goes dormant after Donkey Kong 3. Then DK is brought back in Donkey Kong Country, a soft reboot that was a legacy sequel to the original arcade DK games. This new direction for the series stars Donkey Kong, but this very different looking DK is established to not be the same one as the arcade era. Instead, they introduced the new character Cranky Kong as the original Donkey Kong who fought Mario, and this is Donkey Kong's grandfather. Sometimes he's mistakenly referred to as his just father, but Rare admits that this is a mistake. This would make Junior, or at the very least a sibling of Junior's, a parent to the modern DK. While Junior has mostly been depicted as a child, we do occasionally see an older Junior with similar proportions to Donkey Kong III, like in Super Mario Kart and Mario's Tennis on Virtual Boy. So far, everything flows and makes perfect sense, even though Rare is handling the DK lore and likes a little story details. And Nintendo is doing the Mario stories and not really paying much attention to Rare stuff too often, and infamously does not give a shit about story. So then Yoshi's Island comes along and serves as an official 100% honest-to-God prequel. It depicts the birth of Mario and Luigi, and baby Mario and the Yoshis fight a baby Bowser. Mario and Luigi are born in the Mushroom Kingdom, but whatever, I suppose they could have moved the new donk. Just like DK, Yoshi's Island started a new sub-series for Yoshi. The next few games kept the timeline moving by having new generations of Yoshis in each, kinda like DK. But then they decided it's more Yoshi to have the babies riding Yoshi. So starting with Yoshi's Island DS, they brought back baby Mario, Luigi, Bowser, and now a whole fucking nursery of demon spawn. And this game is ugly too. The complicating factor here is the new babies, because the same year Partners in Time released, a game where Mario and Luigi meet their baby selves. Baby Bowser is back, and this game introduces Baby Peach, showing all four characters are around the same age, not born too long from each other. Mario and Luigi are twins, but I mean Peach and Bowser. Like, Baby Bowser is more of a toddler, so it could be a few years. Yoshi's Island DS has Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, and introduces the other star children as Baby Wario, Baby Yoshi, and Baby fucking Donkey Kong? So this is like the first big timeline plot hole. His design is clearly reminiscent of DK III, and he even has elements of his design, like the brow, that get retooled onto modern DK as of very, very recently, so it is safe to assume that Nintendo intended this to just be him. If Baby DK grew to Cranky Kong, you could perhaps say that Kong's just aged faster, like gorillas do in real life. But I still find it hard to believe that Cranky or Junior were born at the same time frame as Mario. Like, clearly Junior is quite a bit younger than Mario, and if modern DK is Junior's son, he'd be even smaller. So Kongs would also have to age slow sometimes if this is modern DK. And the Donkey Kong series went on to do very different, very Nintendo things once they took back over from Rare, but they always maintain that Cranky is classic DK, Junior is Cranky's son, and DK the Third is Cranky's grandson. It's that extra generation that makes this impossible, so keep that in mind. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong series began around here. Here, modern DK is enemies with Mario like his grandfather, despite this DK being characterized as being more laid back and even friendly with Mario. This series brought back Pauline, and despite being the wrong DK, this one kidnaps her again, just like his grandfather. It seems that when Nintendo takes back over the brand from Rare, they want to simplify things by making it all one Donkey Kong. Okay, so the team that would later work on Super Mario Galaxy did Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, the one main series Donkey Kong game after Rare left and before Retro began. This game is Donkey Kong in name alone. The vibes are completely different, no other characters or locations from the series appear, it's just Donkey Kong himself beating people up. I think the teams at Nintendo have respect for rare elements of DK, but also sometimes don't really want to deal with it. When they do, they kind of just want to make a Mario game, and I guess that's fine, but clearly they have a different philosophy to how games and references to past games can affect the gameplay. It's a very id Software story in the game is like story in a porno type approach. Pauline officially came back full force with Super Mario Odyssey, where she is established to be a singer and the mayor of New Donk City, the very city where Donkey Kong, as well as many other arcade-era games, take place. Even besides the name, New Donk is brimming with Donkey Kong references. Ever since, Pauline's been appearing more and more in games, similar to how they pushed Rosalina a lot more around 3D World's release, culminating in Donkey Kong Bananza, which has the modern Donkey Kong teaming up with a 13-year-old Pauline. How the fuck? Pauline was an adult when she was captured by this Donkey Kong's grandfather, then a child version of herself goes on an adventure with this grandson when he's all grown up? There's no way that this could make any sense. So next I want to take a look at the possible explanations for such a decision, and how this could possibly be square peg in the circular hole into working. Possibility 1, Jumpman and Lady are not Mario and Pauline. This has been a fan theory for a good decade or more now, and I never really liked it much. It posits that if Donkey Kong in the original game is a different generation of DK, then maybe Mario and Pauline are too, implying that Jumpman, the original Little Mario, is different. He's an older guy, possibly even Mario's own father. I'd argue something very similar to this is implied canon in the continuity of the 2023 Mario movie with Giuseppe, an off-brand Mario seen playing an arcade game resembling Donkey Kong called Jumpman, based on his life maybe? According to an old guide for Donkey Kong 94, they flat out say Lady and Pauline are different. But frankly, I don't buy it. So the original arcade game happened with Lady, and then a young Cranky Kong with child DK Jr. kidnap adult Pauline and are defeated by adult Mario. It still just doesn't work. I like to think of DK94 as canon, but also maybe not. It's kind of fucky. Mario's on good terms with Cranky by the end of the game, so if DK Jr. takes place after this, then Mario's just a dick. And I mean, he is a dick in Jr., but this is very strangely done and clearly not the intent to put Jr. after 94 directly. The game also ends in the Mushroom Kingdom, so what, Mario goes there and it leads to Super Mario Bros? So Jr., Mario Bros, Wrecking Crew, even that Mario Maker level that connects Mario Bros to Mario 1, just ignore those even though they're all canon? Nah, 94 is just fucky, that's just a different topic for a different day. Possibility number 2. Rare just had their own vision for this universe, and Nintendo just didn't really give a fuck because it was all in the past. This is one of the most likely options. In Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo and Conker were playable characters, put in to promote their upcoming games. The manual clearly states that all the playable characters are friends, with Banjo and Conker knowing Diddy, and Timber the Tiger, the game's original protagonist, before this became a Diddy Kong game. Banjo's game, of course, was the classic Banjo-Kazooie, which featured a Noddy, a recurring enemy from the Donkey Kong Country series, as well as Tip-Top, a character from Diddy Kong Racing. Both of these are deliberately placed cameos to show a connected world. Tip-Top even reappears in Banjo-Tooie. Conker was there to promote the upcoming 12 Tales Conker 64, a personal lost media holy grail for me, and Conker's Pocket Tales, games that also fit right into the Mario universe. But we all know how that ended. Pocket Tales came out as planned, but 12 Tales was reworked into Conker's Bad Fur Day, a raunchy South Park-inspired fever dream and one of my favorite games of all time. So back in 2001, talking shit was canon to the Mario universe, at least in Rare's eyes. And I don't mean the bad-mouthing kind of talking shit. The first boss of Diddy Kong Racing was Tricky the Triceratops, a character put in to be a nod to the then-upcoming N64 game Dinosaur Planet. However, Dinosaur Planet got retooled just like Conker's Bad Fur Day did. It got retooled into Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube, possibly adding Star Fox to this shit? And then this kind of thing just went on for years, even after Rare was bought out by Microsoft, and couldn't officially say Donkey Kong was canon to the world, but they sure as hell hinted it. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts shows that Banjo remembers Diddy Kong Racing. And most funny, in the promotion for Conker Live and Reloaded, Conker has not great things to say about the freaks he used to hang out with. The one in jail was Bumper the Badger, by the way, and he was in jail for indecent exposure. I'm not kidding, but this is a whole nother video. This stuff expanded and expanded to include Grab by the Ghoulies, Saberman, Sea of Thieves, and even Yooka-Laylee, but obviously Nintendo does not entertain this connected universe. After the buyout, Nintendo allowed Rare to remake Diddy Kong Racing for the DS, and of course Banjo and Conker are cut, replaced by the older Tiny Kong and her sister Dixie. However, all the other characters are still here, like Tricky, even Tip-Top, Bumper, and Pipsy, all characters that are legally owned by Rare. And as previously mentioned, Tip-Top was in Banjo-Kazooie. No, they legally could have put Banjo and Conker in, but Nintendo just didn't want them in, as to not imply that they still shared a world. In this scenario, Nintendo has shown to just discard bits of Rare lore to make things work better for the simpler Mario lore they want. So, they could have simply done that with Cranky Kong's origins as the original DK. But then Cranky still makes jabs at the original Donkey Kong game like he always has. So it doesn't quite work. Or does it? More on that later. Possibility number 3. Mario lore just doesn't exist. This is a very likely one, but one I choose not to accept. One interpretation is that the Mario characters work like the Mickey Mouse characters. They're all real people in the universe with those real dynamics, but in a way, they're all actors. Mickey Mouse lives in a house with Minnie, Pluto, and Figaro, has a normal post-war suburban life one day, and is part of the Three Musketeers the next day. Or he's Jack and the Beanstalk. Or in a stage play. A doctor? A celebrity golfer? Maybe this time they just wanted Pauline to be a kid. But like, I don't buy this one either. It's so out of left field. For years now, and I'm talking the Wii U era, there's been rumors about an open-world DK game with Pauline as a playable character. Now with Kid Pauline and Bananza, I have no doubt that this rumored game was real and turned into this. So why did they de-age her? The Wii U game never had anyone mention that she was anyone besides an adult Pauline, sometimes depicted as like an explorer. If that game indeed turned into this one, somewhere along the long line they decided, intentionally, to make Pauline a child. Possibility 4, another most likely one. Pauline just got transformed into a child, and somehow just doesn't recognize Donkey Kong. The plot of Bananza told in the direct is that DK and Pauline are traveling to the center of this underground world, because legends tell a wish can be granted upon reaching the center. The main villains, Voidco, are in a race with DK to get there too. Pauline's main goal in this game, according to the direct because the game isn't out yet, is to get home. So presumably DK is just taking her to wish just for that. So the thing I've seen around is that maybe in the beginning of the story, adult Pauline hears tales of the wish granting, despite 17 million other wish granting star power shenanigans existing in the Mario universe, and perhaps wish to regain her youth, and so gets ironically turned into a child. Perhaps her responsibility as a mayor has made her lose touch with that side of herself, so it's a coming-of-age story. But that's gay, so I think it's possibility 5. Kid Pauline is displaced in time, and this is probably what Nintendo's doing. Some people say it's gotta be number 4 because she wears such baggy clothes, but bro, that's just style. Nah, she don't recognize DK, and even if Mario vs. Donkey Kong isn't canon, and she doesn't know DK the Third, she named and themed her entire city after the DK she did know. And I neglected to mention that she was originally not shown as Pauline, but instead Oddrock. They hid the fact that Oddrock was Pauline from us, so like, why? Pauline's all about her dreams to be a singer in the future, which also contradicts number 4, because as an adult, she's already a famous singer. Perhaps with the themes of coming to age, thematically the rock transformation is a symbolic for her lack of courage to show this talent. Through her adventure with DK, she learns her strengths and becomes the Pauline we all know. This game is like all but confirmed to be made by the Super Mario Odyssey team, who invented New Donk City, and the reinvention of Pauline's character. So like, through this adventure, she grows a respect of DK and all his friends, themes her city around it when she goes back to her own time. All this name and likeness theft gets an unaware and characteristically grumpy young Cranky Kong to come on over, kidnap her, and take her to the top of a construction site, until a carpenter in overalls intervenes? Am I fucking insane? Yes, I am. Because, surprise, possibility 6, my crackpot-ass theory that no doubt is not the case, but would work. I was at work yesterday after watching the direct, and all day I was thinking, without magic, without time travel, how could Kid Pauline actually be there with modern DK? How could I, or Nintendo, possibly make that work if they just never explain that? K. Rool is more than likely in this game, or at least alluded to, so the Donkey Kong Country trilogy no doubt happened before this. So the only way, without time travel or transforming Pauline, is to make modern DK and classic DK the same guy. Nintendo has toyed with this. In Donkey Kong 94, presumably Cranky Kong is wearing the tie that DK3 would wear in DKC the very same year. And when Rare was working on their DK, which was originally going to be the same DK before making him a new character, Nintendo sent them this art among many others. This is the very same classic DK with the tie, meaning Nintendo actually came up with the tie, not Rare, and wanted classic DK to start wearing it around this time. And in the original concept for Donkey Kong Country, Cranky was Grandpa Kong, and not the original DK. Diddy was just Donkey Kong Jr., making Donkey Kong just Donkey Kong. Same Donkey Kong the whole way down. Rare games tended to have cheeky senses of humor. Yeah, Cranky always talks about barrels and construction sites being a rival to a man in overalls, but he also ranks Diddy as the best video game hero, and the plot to Donkey Kong Land is literally a fourth wall breaking bullshit adventure, with him betting DK can't go on an adventure with inferior graphics. The man just breaks the fourth wall. And this goes back around to explaining Banjo and Conquer and Tricky and all that shit as non-canon, just silly little nods. Are we to assume that Sonic and Earthworm Jim are in the same universe? Ignore Sonic, that's a whole nother can of worms, actually. Following this one DK theory, that would actually make Donkey Kong Country a prequel instead of the years later sequel it originally was, with DK's appearance in Mario games happening after the classic games once DK and Mario become friends. This makes Baby Donkey Kong make a lot more sense, as it means DK is the same age range as Mario, so no timeline shenanigans as far as that go, and no need for time travel theories. In Mario Tennis on N64, DK's double partner was DK Jr. Before that was just a weird oddity like Baby Mario and Luigi, with an adult DK playing tennis with his infant father. Now it's the other way around, being an adult DK playing tennis with his son. Streamlined! So the timeline would work this way. The 7 star children are all born around the same time, with Bowser being the oldest, and Mario and Luigi are twins. Donkey Kong is born around the same time. Pauline would be born a few years later. Here's where things get a little fucky though. For this to work, DK would have to age faster than Pauline and Mario here. Using the logic that real-life gorillas only live to a maximum of 50, you can stretch it and accept it, but they reach maturity at 12 at the earliest. This is a fully grown adult. Miyamoto once said that Mario is 24, which I think is utter bullshit, but if that's true, DK is around Mario's age in the current games and not Bananza. That would make adult Pauline 22 if she was 13 when Donkey Kong is 15. It kinda works, I think. So Mario is born in the Mushroom Kingdom, and somewhere along the way, moves to New Donk. Or perhaps it's simply called Brooklyn, New York at this point. Around 15 or so years later, all or at least most of the Donkey Kong Country related games happen with DK and family on Donkey Kong Island. In Donkey Kong 64, Tiny Kong is a kid, but note later she grows up like Pauline, and I think this new timeline placement helps that make sense. Then Donkey Kong Bananza occurs, with a 15-year-old Donkey Kong adventuring with 13-year-old Pauline. 9 years pass, Mario is 24, Pauline is 22, and Donkey Kong is 24. Mario has a bunch of jobs while living in New Donk, a bottling plant, part of a wrecking crew, cement factories, and even fighting in Nam or some shit. At this time, Mario and Pauline are dating, and maybe Donkey Kong still somehow becomes Mario's pet gorilla, if that's still canon. That fit Donkey Kong Circus right in. Donkey Kong gets mad, and while Mario is working as a carpenter at a construction site, Donkey Kong grabs Pauline and climbs to the very top of the site, where the original Donkey Kong game takes place. Mario climbing and climbing and climbing to reach the top to fight Donkey Kong parallels Donkey Kong's journey to see how far down he can get to get his wish in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Mario wins, Donkey Kong is caged up, and Mario takes him back to Donkey Kong Island without letting him out? I guess just to be a dick. This is Mario's asshole era. Anyway, this continues to Mario Bros. And then the regular Super Mario series. Mario becomes a bit of a well-known figure after all these adventures, saving the Mushroom Kingdom, Dinosaur Land, Sarasa Land, Mario Land, etc. In games like Paper Mario and Superstar Saga, he's just straight up shown to have a fan base. So maybe through this fame, he sells his likeness for a line of toys, the Mini Marios in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. Donkey Kong, still an enemy with this new timeline placement, wants the toys for some reason and robs the factory. The whole series should fit in here no problem, and somewhere along the way, Mario officially befriends Donkey Kong. And so as time goes on, they have kart races and tennis, soccer, golf, baseball, volleyball, etc. together. Even Junior joins in sometimes. Even alongside his dad once. I think this new take on the Mario timeline works just fine, even though it's a huge retcon. Nintendo's trying to change a lot right now to make things more visually appealing and cohesive story-wise in the wake of the 2023 Mario movie. They've been giving a lot of love to corners of the franchise long untouched. Super Mario RPG remake, Mario and Luigi Brothership, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door remake, and even though it wasn't well received, they brought Mario Strikers back. No one thought they were going to do that. Nintendo's also clearly taking inspiration from the Mario movie, with the new audience as well as being inspired by the art direction. Donkey Kong is the biggest example of that one, with Nintendo working with Illumination to make his new look for the film, which is now in the games. Yoshi got a new look, which frankly he kinda needed. And with Wonder in Mario Kart World, they gave the series a new art style completely to make the characters more expressive, taking a lot of inspiration from the 2D art, the N64 era renders, and again, the Mario movie. Starting subtly with Mario Odyssey, but actually hitting full swing with Wonder, a whole new era of Mario is beginning in my opinion. The characters are more expressive, there's more love to obscure corners of the franchise, and we're getting new games of long dormant subseries. And there's new blood working on the best of the best. It's not all perfect, but my point is, even the tiniest bit of predictability Nintendo had is now completely gone. At least with Mario, Wario, Yoshi, DK, etc. This is a huge transitionary period and anything is on the table. so far, the batting average is incredible, and I'm very excited for the future. Whether or not they actually retcon anything or give a fuck about anything, the games are going to be amazing, I'm sure. That's it for this insanely long ramble. Thank you for listening. That's it. I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but whatever, it was fun. I'm Sprited. This is actually my second channel, Sprited's Dumping Ground. If you like obsessing about Mario lore, or just talking about Mario or other things, possibly, check out my main channel, Sprited. It's right there. I do a series where I talk about every single Mario game ever made and analyze them way too much. Thank you!